Hello, my name is Bernice Amponsa, and this is a presentation of Performance Assessment for EDU 607, Assessing and Managing Learning. This digital presentation summarizes my previous performance assessment development completed on deconstructing standards and assessing learning targets. This presentation will highlight a deconstructed early learning literacy performance standard suitable for preschoolers and learning activities that can be used to collect data to help identify a student's level of understanding, reasoning, and performance skills, along with a rubric and assessment critique. When it comes to teaching, design plays a vital role. To be a great designer, think of what outcome you hope for. In Understanding by Design, Wiggins and McTighe argue that backward design is focused primarily on students' learning and understanding. In order to plan a successful learning activity, the outcome must be the focus of your drive of the learning experience. This activity will help students to develop an understanding, knowledge, and skills in early language development, communication skills, and comprehension and response to books and other texts. Wiggins states that one of the challenges in teaching is designing, and to be a good designer, you have to think about what you are trying to accomplish and craft a combination of the content and the instructional methods, but also the assessment. Deconstructing these standards will facilitate the management of learning. The following slides will shed some light on graphic organizers, bringing to light the knowledge, reasoning skills, and product learning targets. The steps after deconstructing is standard target statements, rewording into a child-friendly statement by way of using I can statements. GRASS tool and teaching strategy gold standards RLK2 with prompting and supporting retelling familiar stories, including key details from teaching strategies. These will be highlighted. In understanding and knowledge targets, students must be able to comprehend and respond to books and other text, retell stories and recount details from informational text, retell familiar stories and recount informational text in proper sequence, including significant events and characters as appropriate. In a child-friendly manner, I can statements. I can show an understanding of a story by answering questions about the books or the text, and I can retell stories in detail in the correct sequence. The reasoning skills will be the teacher asking higher order of thinking questions to promote students' ability to predict what happens next in the story. Furthermore, the student-friendly I can statements will be I can answer questions about stories and predict what happens next. The performance skill will require that teacher accept retelling in many forms, arranging in sequence picture cards to retell a story, role play, etc. The I can statement will be I can retell stories using sequence board and picture cards, and I can retell stories by drawing and dictating the correct story sequence. A target audience is essential in performance task, measuring what students are learning to apply their knowledge in other environments and issues. The GRASP tool ensures they understand the standards they are expected to master. Product and performance standard and criteria for success in this slide is for the student to be able to 1. Retell familiar stories and recount details from nonfiction text using pictures and props as prompt. 2. Retell stories using sequence board and picture cards. 3. Retell stories by drawing and dictating the correct sequence of a story. Interacts during reading experiences, book conversations, and text reflections. A student rubric helps to ensure that all parts of the activity and performance tasks are met. A rubric consists of specific criteria and description that captures the level of understanding and mastery. This rubric will evaluate students on sequence events in a story, critical thinking, and application of knowledge. For educators to stay on track with our learning and teachings, we must adhere to the critical quality assessment tool. The learning target is clear and age appropriate to support instruction and student needs. The assessment tool is for teachers to measure student skills in sequencing, critical thinking, and application of knowledge to a developmentally appropriate level. The formative assessment will be recorded during the learning process and help teachers and students adjust their real-time strategies. It will also help identify areas of improvement. The second key reflects valued achievement targets. The learning target will guide teacher on what to teach and the students on what to learn. The target will be posted around the classrooms and the learning environments and communicated to the students during learning process. The design key is a method selected that makes sense given the goals and purpose of the activities. The different mastery levels provide data that reflects students' understanding or mastery. The performance task design best suits this assessment because of the developmental stage of the students. The communication key provides evidence of student learning. The evidence gathered will help the teacher determine how to approach reteaching a concept if required. Students know their objectives through I can statements in the final key. For example, I can retell a story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Sequence cards and props associated with the story will be posted in a designated area in the classroom, accessible to students to enable navigation of the task independently and evaluate their progress accurately. And teachers will provide feedback. Thank you kindly for your time, and be well.